Hello crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I'm here with another A2 one-sheet wonder. A one-sheet wonder is where I take a sheet of 6x6 or 12x12 or whatever size pattern paper and I cut it so that you can make cards with no scraps. My A2s, I generally try to make 2 cards with them. I do share videos with other sizes, so if you like a different size card, there are some ideas out there. The template is a PDF that you can get over on my blog. You can download it. It tells you the exact measurements to cut and the measurements on a sketch so that you can recreate this card. And you'll see, if you're interested in another size, there'll be links over on the blog and you'll see that there are like slim lines and mini slim lines and 5x7, etc. I'm not going to talk too much about the measurements on today's card because, like I said, it is downloadable and you'll know exactly what to cut everything at, but I do want to just mention some various tips and tricks and helpful things. So, I am going to be using an oval shape. This can be challenging when you're trying not to create scraps because you have to cut the oval out of another element. So basically, this rectangle that I've cut the oval out of, I'll have to cover the hole in it, but I'll be using it as an element on the card. And often I will just put the circle or oval right over the hole, but I usually mat everything because I like the look of it and because it means that it will cover the hole more completely. So if you don't like matting, this may not be the sketch for you, just because I'm using that mat to help kind of smooth things out and cover it up. Some of my one sheet wonders you can adapt and not use the mats with, but this particular one, I really would recommend it. I wanted to share a few other thoughts here. I am going to be using a Spanish sentiment, and I will link to where I picked up this particular one. I am seeing more Spanish sentiments in dies and in stamp sets. Why I find this particularly interesting is because, as many of you know, I like to donate my cards, and so having multiple languages can be helpful because some of the organizations that I like to donate to serve people who speak different languages. With that in mind, you can go to the Card Drive resources page on my blog, which will be linked in the video description, and it will share the different organizations that I donate to, as well as jokes that you can put inside your cards. So if you like to make cards but you're not sure what to put inside them, what to say, you can download those jokes and have that as a sort of starting point for your card. And I do have even some Spanish jokes. I did get these proofread by several Spanish speakers. I personally do not speak Spanish, but I wanted to be able to share wider resources. Hopefully I can work on some other languages in the future, but currently that was kind of the one where I knew I could get help on it. I do like to use nesting dies when I do the ovals or circles because I can pick one, and I said 2x1 in the template, so a 2x1 oval, but I really just pick whichever one of my nesting ovals is closest to that measurement, and then I pick the next biggest one for the mat. I really can't recommend enough that you get a basic set of like ovals, circles, and then even squares and rectangles if you're into crafting or if you're into card making, because I do find them to be quite useful. Initially, even when I started crafting, I was like, I don't need a rectangle die. I can just cut a rectangle. Sometimes if you want to cut it out of the center of something, you're going to need that die. And so it can be quite helpful. But the nesting dies are really good if you like to do mats especially. This die has like the shadow outline, I think they call it, and then the word itself. I really like this for Christmas themed things because I love to do a craft background and then the writing in some other color, like the word in some other color, because it reminds me of a Christmas cookie. And like gingerbread men, where you get that sort of light brown background and then you can draw with icing all over it. And so that I just think is like a perfect way to do a Christmas sentiment. I'm going to be coloring this Lawn Fawn deer. It's from an older stamp set of theirs, and I just wanted to have a cute little critter to finish off my card and add a little bit more interest to it. I really like coloring in little cute critters. Lawn Fawn is excellent for that. but particularly this one, I knew that I could easily cut it out with my scissors. Usually I don't typically buy coordinating dies. I have a ScanNCut machine that will cut most stamped images for me. It has a little bit of a harder time with craft cardstock or non-white cardstock. It's pretty consistent in terms of being able to cut out stamps on white cardstock. But I didn't want to have to bother with that, since especially I knew I was only going to color 2 deer, and so I could easily hand cut them. I picked 2 different sets of browns. The marker caps are there. My coloring is crazy simple. I basically just decided that one side of the deer was going to be in shadow and one side was going to be more light, and then I put my darker shadow colors on, in this instance, the right side of the deer, and did that consistently throughout so that it just looked like it had a little bit of dimension. But since this is not part of a larger scene, there is no actual light source, you don't have to worry about being too exact with that. Then, as I mentioned, I fussy cut him. I do find when you fussy cut, this helpful tip that I had heard years and years ago, I know Christina Warner used to say it all the time, is you can trace the edges of the fussy cut image with a black marker. I use like something with a brush tip, and it gives it a little bit more clean look. So if you did something where when you cut it out, you didn't cut exactly on the line, running that brush marker along it finishes off those edges. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of my fake foam tape. Instead of using foam tape, I take pieces of cardstock and glue them together and then put that under things so that I don't have to buy extra foam tape, and it's a little more environmentally friendly. And I'm going to use that to even out my sentiment a bit. And that's it for my card today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are interested in more crafting tutorials, be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you never want to miss a new One Sheet Wonder, hit that bell icon, and I'll leave you some videos here at the end to check out. Thanks so much for watching. Have an awesome day. Bye.